Alright, it's been quite a long wait, but it's finally time for another Wacky Weekly pack. I always feel kind of strange saying Wacky Weekly, but that's the name that they chose to go with, so we're going to have to stick with it. This is a special weekly that runs in addition to the regular weekly, which has a modifier toy. Now you can see it there on the right hand side. It's called the toy boat this time. And these toys affect the mechanics of the game and create a completely different playing experience, which I've always been a big fan of. So it's really great to see this back, because we knew that there were other wacky toys that had never been used, and yeah, hopefully we'll see some more in the future. So what does the toy boat do? Well, it's pretty interesting. As you can see here, on turn 3 we end up with a whole shop of tier 2s, and then we roll again and it's all tier 2s again. And that's because the toy boat changes the pets that are available in the shop. So you can still get the next tier from a level up, but for rolling, you're only going to see pets from the current tier. And they can be from any pack. So although the pack itself does have pets in it, the only way you get access to those pets is by leveling up or from pets like spider and eagle and stork and so on. So here we're going to keep the osprey that we leveled up into. Even though there's lots of good tier 2s, because there are so many of them, your chances of rolling duplicates are very low. And you can see here we already got very, very lucky getting level 2 koala. Now there is a duplicate here, but because we're down to 1 gold, I don't want to block the shop when we know that it's going to be full of tier 3s next turn. And actually I think one of the most effective ways to play this pack is simply to sell most of your team every turn until you get to the late game. There are plenty of strong units available every round, as you can see here. We've got a full shop of tier 3s. It looks so strange because you're used to just seeing a random selection of units. And I think here, do I take the flying squirrel to try and keep the Sphinx toy alive? Yeah, I don't think many of these other units are worth keeping, even though there's good stats there on the pygmy hippo. Summons are definitely a very strong route to take in this. As you can see, our opponent has a summon team. Because generally speaking, the teams are still going to function pretty well, even without lots of levels on the units. But luckily here we have the good disruption from the drop bear, and it gets us a tie. So I think now that this squirrel has reset the toy, we're actually just going to replace it with the puppy toy. Yeah, we'll go for toilet paper this time instead of taking the lasagna, which probably is much more commonly purchased. But already Flying Squirrel is scaling up pretty well. I think we replaced the perk there on the fan muscle, but then the Bilby immediately gave garlic back. Still think we're going to be fine though. So yeah, it's Wednesday when I'm recording this, and I think already I must have recorded, I don't know, 10 to 15 runs in this pack that could easily be videos. We're going to have to just spread them out though, because there's never going to be enough time to upload all of those games before the end of the week. Although I think the last time we had a Wacky Weekly actually lasted 2 weeks, so whether or not this is going to disappear on Sunday night, I do not know. So something else that you can work out if you've played this a few times is realizing that the odds of getting level ups are so poor, not just because of the rolling mechanic, but because you only get 2 turns, which would be turns 9 and 10, where chocolate is available. So the rest of the time you have to rely on finding crow. You can also potentially get blobfish and then faint it. There are a few ways to do that, but you're going to have also found specific pets beforehand. So we definitely freeze the crow in the shop. Luckily here we're actually on turn 8, still with 5 hearts. So we're in pretty good shape, although we lose our first heart now. And then we get the double level up from the caterpillar, with Fly as well. So I think we're definitely going to take both of them. Now, Jersey Devil is one of the pets that is in the pack itself, so you can get it on level up. I think generally the best pets in tier 6 in this pack are the ones that are both in the pack and you're able to roll them in the shop. Because if I haven't mentioned that already, there are some pets that you cannot get, even though it says all pets are available. For instance, if you just think about it for a second, there are some that don't make any sense, like, for instance, Dragon. So Dragon on tier 6 would be a complete blank, because by the time you get to tier 6, you don't have any way of finding any more tier 1s. Similarly, there are other ones that would be kind of broken, like Ostrich, where you can find Ostrich via Red Panda, but you can't roll it in the shop because obviously with all the pets being the same tier, it would be guaranteed 4 triggers in a row. And there are a few others as well. I think like Bird of Paradise isn't there. I think it makes a lot of sense removing the scalers because, anyone who ends up hitting the lucky break with the scalers early is just going to run over most teams. I have seen a few people with a full team of scalers, although most of the time I think it tends to be the ones that are actually in the pack. So I think Seal is in there and Worm maybe. So it's not like the most premium scalers are available. Now here we're 1 turn away from getting the double level up on the Caterpillar. And because Jersey Devil is one of the pets that is actually in the pack, and we can find it on level up, I'm going to actually go for a Jersey Devil team here, even though it's completely unnecessary. I just felt like it was funny to go for a team like this in a pack where it's very difficult to get experience. With the Caterpillars leveling up next turn, that will mean that we can get 2 level 3 cells immediately. Are we going to be alright here? I guess it doesn't matter too much since we do have 4 hearts still. But we still win anyway. So the Caterpillars are going to level up. Maybe we'll get another Jersey Devil here or an Alpaca. Okay, we get double Rockhopper Penguin. I think I'm just going to sell the Caterpillars yet. We're on 8 wins already, so we really need to get this team going as soon as we can if we're going to actually try and use the Jersey Devil. Now obviously this wasn't my first game in the pack. I'd already played a ton of games at this point. So I was aware that there was a decent chance of being able to set this up. But I think if you were just going into this pack blind without having checked what the toy actually did beforehand, it would be pretty difficult to get anything going. Especially if you were rolling down for a specific unit, not realizing that it wasn't going to be possible to find it. Now, Rockhopper Penguin, like I mentioned, I think is one of the best units because it's available to roll, plus it's also in the pack on level up. So when we combine the 2 Rockhoppers here, we could get another one. But I think we're going to be in danger of winning too quickly. So we're going to have to start throwing turns pretty soon if we want to actually get the Jersey Devils maxed out, which was the goal here. Although I think at this point it's getting pretty difficult to do that. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl, we could take it, but it would take 3 turns to level up the Flying Squirrel. And obviously that is one of the main strategies for getting higher level units, is keeping low tier pets and then leveling them with Quetzalcoatl, and then there are some transform foods in the pack as well, so you can use Competo to try and upgrade them all the way up to a higher tier. Okay, looks like I am going to take it. Maybe we're just going to throw a couple of turns. Yeah, it looks like I'm changing my mind. And I think I'm just rolling for Fly here, actually. Because we do have level 2.33 Fly, so we only need 2 more to get the level up. Now, here's an Ostrich team, so they will have gotten Ostrich from Red Panda. And Mantis, sadly, is in the pack, so there are quite a few teams like this where they have Mantis, and they've scaled way beyond what you'd expect for the contents of this pack. It's also fairly easy to get Shark and Spinosaurus, so there are plenty of strong Feint teams out there. But we don't mind losing because we're trying to get this level 3 fly so we can get the Jersey Devils closer to being maxed out. The more I look at this replay, the more I'm pretty convinced that there's no way I'm going to actually get the full maxed out Jersey Devil. Definitely would be possible in this pack, but I think you need to find some of the specific early tier pets, like maybe Guinea Pig, for instance. Anything to help you shortcut the leveling process and not be too reliant on finding Quetzalcoatl at the end. It's so strange looking at the shop and seeing all tier 6s. I really think this would be a great option to have available for, lobbies and things. I'm sure some people would probably like to play it 1v1 as well. It's just a different take on the game. And it does allow you to play some quite different strategies than you would normally. Okay, it looks like we're going to take the Orca here. Not sure why exactly, because I really just want to get the level up and we don't want to win the next turn. I suppose it's maybe because I'm going to sell the fly next turn. So the Orca's there just to make sure we have another summon unit. But I think even with the nowhere near maxed out Jersey Devils, our team is still pretty strong. I think we are going to lose here though, are we? Yeah, just barely. So the fly level up, we don't get anything we want, but we're just going to sell it. Pretty weird to be selling level 3 fly. I wonder if I've ever done that before. But we actually find another fly, so we can just buy it again. Of course, it's a huge downgrade on the one that we already had, and definitely not worth it, but I guess at this point I was just somehow hoping that we were going to tie some more games in order to get the Jersey Devils maxed out, but realistically that was never going to happen. I think is that back-to-back Hippo? There definitely are certain units that you can tell opposing teams are gravitating towards, like Geometric Tortoise and Hippo and so on. And here actually the fly enables the Rockhopper Penguin that has just been summoned to jump forward and give us some extra trumpets. And it's a very narrow win with our last life still intact. So let me know in the comments if you've been enjoying this special weekly. I'll definitely be featuring it again in the near future.